Hey, welcome to the best Charles Schwab review that you're going to find on YouTube. Okay, so in this review, we're going to talk about some of the accounts and products offered by Charles Schwab. We're going to talk about the commissions that they charge. We're going to talk about the interface. And then finally, we're going to talk about some of the cons I have with the company. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so we're in the computer here on charlesschwab.com. Now, I'm actually logged in already, and I'm on the products landing page here. Now, the first thing I wanted to talk about is the different products available with Charles Schwab. Usually, when people are starting to invest, they want to know if the broker or the platform is going to have everything that someone would need. For example, like what I call the fintech brokers nowadays, the Robinhoods, M1 Finances, the Weebles. They don't always have everything. Maybe they may not have an IRA or Roth IRA or something like that. Definitely might not have things like 529 plans, which are called savings accounts. Maybe SEP IRA, simple IRA. So if you need something specific, a Charles Schwab is kind of what I call like the grown-up brokerage account. They're gonna have what you need. So pretty much every single type of thing that you need. So for example, Charles Schwab has individual IRAs, of course, rollover IRAs. So if you're rolling over your 401k, you want to open up an IRA, you can do so. If you inherit an IRA, someone passes away, they leave you their IRA. Custodial IRAs, so there's all different types of accounts. This is under the retirement products. With Charles Schwab, there are also 529 plans available. There's a whole education tab, and there's so many different accounts that you can have, and a tax-advantaged side. So another thing when it comes to products that I wanted to really highlight, because I think it's really important, and it gets overlooked, unfortunately, is the Charles Schwab Intelligent Portfolios. And what this is, it's a actual robo-advisor. And so what's interesting about this is Charles Schwab Intelligent Portfolios is similar to a Betterment or a Wealthfront, which are also robo-advisors. So there's different robo-advisors these days, and a robo-advisor kind of does algorithmic investing. And so if you kind of look here, you can see this little picture is someone's portfolio. Someone has $118,004 in this portfolio, and it's allocated, so its asset allocation is between stocks in blue. There's fixed income and bonds and things like that. There's also cash. So what happens is when you have money, you want to usually have it in a proper asset allocated portfolio, meaning that you want to have the correct amount of stocks in the portfolio, the correct amount of bonds in the portfolio to meet the amount of risk that you want to take. So this usually depends on things like your age, how old you want to be when you retire, your risk tolerance. So they might ask you questions about your risk tolerance. So Charles Schwab has something pretty great here that you can take advantage of. And what's amazing about this is that there's no actual fee for it in terms of a management fee. So if you go to a Wealthfront, if you go to a Betterment, it's going to cost you about 0.25% to have something like this. And with Charles Schwab, there is no management fee. Also, because Charles Schwab owns the ETFs, they have their own Charles Schwab ETFs. They're gonna use their own ETFs for the most part in the overall asset allocation of your portfolio. So they're gonna have very low fees, is basically what I'm trying to say. And that would be a great thing too to have. So just if you're interested in a robo-advisor, just remember this is a really strong product that Charles Schwab has, and it actually gets overlooked in my opinion. Sorry, actually, let's go over to the investment products tab and take a look real quick, because there's something that I think you should know about, and that is the Schwab stock slices. So this is really great now. If you, for example, want to buy a fraction of a share, you can do so these days. It used to be where if a stock costs a certain amount of money, let's say it's $1,000 for stock, and you only have $2,000 in your portfolio, you don't really want to invest in a $1,000 stock if you don't have enough money. It's going to be 50% of your portfolio. So this is a way to kind of get past that. So for example, let's just type in Amazon. So we know Amazon has quite a pricey stock price. So Amazon here is $2,545 per share. Now, of course, let's say you have $10,000 in your portfolio. Maybe you don't want to buy $2,500 worth of Amazon stock because it's going to be 25% of your portfolio. That's kind of overweight Amazon, right? So what you can do now is you can come in here and you can say, okay, I want a fraction of a share. Let's say you want to just invest $500 in Amazon. There you go. You can put 5% of your $10,000 portfolio in Amazon, and pretty great. Okay, so quick recap. Charles Schwab has a ton of different accounts available. Pretty much any account you're going to need. They have IRAs, Roth IRAs. They have taxable brokerage accounts, of course. They have 529 plans. So any account you're going to need, they're probably going to have. And when it comes to products, they have some great products. They have Charles Schwab Intelligent Portfolios. They also have stock slices. So some great offerings with Charles Schwab. So let's go ahead and get into the next section. Okay, so we're back here on the products tab, and let's take a look at the fees. Now, we kind of already talked about intelligent portfolios having very low fee, being actually there's no management fee, so very low, $0 for a fee, right? But Charles Schwab is really great these days. So Robinhood pretty much put that competition to Charles Schwab, TD Ameritrade, all these brokers, and what kind of came out of it is they all lowered their fees to $0, which is great for all of us consumers. And so now you can buy an online stock or a stock online, ETF, options, futures, things like that. There's no commissions anymore. So it's really amazing where we are today and our ability to have very low cost, zero cost brokerage accounts. And so if we take a look real quick, just to show you, of course, there's $0. $0 for online trades. If you want to buy a stock, if you want to buy an ETF, if you want to buy a mutual fund, to buy it, it's $0. Now, of course, there are fees in mutual funds, but this is if it's through one source, which is something that is offered by Charles Schwab. Different mutual funds are available in one source, so you can go and you can search mutual funds. As long as it's in there, then you can invest in that mutual fund through Charles Schwab and you won't pay any money. However, if you want something that's not located in one source, you will have to pay $49.95. So, of course, much better if you could find a mutual fund that's inside one source, so you don't have to pay that extra $49.95. Options. $0 base commission, now 65 cents per contract. Futures are $1.50 per contract. Futures options are $1.50 per contract. If you come down to fixed income, $0 for things like treasury bonds, bills, notes, tips. So it's pretty great. $0 for preferred stocks and REITs. Now, something that's really amazing also about Charles Schwab is the ETFs that they have available. And so what makes Charles Schwab really stand out is the fact that they have their own ETFs. So they have over 200 ETFs, I believe. I'm not sure exactly how many, but let's take a look and just type in SWPPX. So SWPPX is an ETF that's a Charles Schwab ETF that tracks the S&P 500. So if we go over and we take a look at this ETF, we can take a look at how low the fee is. So what we want to see here is this is Charles Schwab S&P 500 Index Fund, SWPPX, no load, no fee, and take a look at this. 0.02% net expense ratio. So this is really something that you need to focus on and pay attention to because there's so many people, for example, who love Vanguard, and Vanguard's a great fund company, but you know, a Vanguard fund, so VOO is the ticker symbol of an ETF that many people like over at Vanguard, and it's a S&P 500 index fund. it's actually, it's more expensive than this. So like there's many Vanguard people who are like really gung-ho about Vanguard, but if you come over to Charles Schwab, the ETFs are actually, it's even a lower commission. Like I think, don't quote me on this, VOO at Vanguard is actually 0.05 or 0.04% net expense ratio. Of course, they're both extremely low, but I just wanted to make sure that we highlight the fact that Schwab has their own ETFs, so it's very powerful. They have great ETF fees on those ETFs. So for someone who just wants to invest maybe even in an ETF, S&P 500 ETF, and that's all you want to own, you can come here and just open one up and it's almost nothing. So keep that in mind. A quick recap on the fees. Basically, let's give it up for Robinhood. Thank you, Robinhood, and all the other fintech companies that have joined the competition and helped drive fees and commissions down to zero. Basically, with Charles Schwab, if you want to buy a stock, there's no commission anymore. If you want to buy an ETF, there's no commission anymore. It's a great time to be investing in the stock market. And you know what also? It's a great time to be subscribing to this YouTube channel and hitting that like button. So please do that if you enjoy the video. Okay, let's get back into it. All right, we're back here on the products page. Now, when it comes to the different ways to trade with Charles Schwab, if you want to just buy a normal stock, you can go in, you can just go to the trade account and you can buy your stock, buy your ETF. That's very simple to do. But if you want to use the interface, if you're more of a trader, then you can use the trading tools. So if you go over to trade, you hit trade here and you take a look at, for example, Street Smart Edge. So Street Smart Edge is a trading platform. It's specifically made for people who trade. So there's going to be a lot of functionality in here to really help you figure out basically how to make good trades. All the tools that are necessary for traders should be in here. I don't personally do much trading myself. I'm more of a long-term investor who looks at fundamentals, but of course, anyone who's a trader might want to take a look at Street Smart Edge. Probably a pretty good tool. I haven't really used it, but I've heard good things about it. In terms of the different availabilities, there's Street Smart Edge. There's also StreetSmart.com. It's cloud-based software. There's also TradeSource. So these are different just tools that are available for you. Here you go with TradeSource. Now TradeSource just it's basically tools that are available for traders. So something also to take a look at if you are into trading. And something else to take into consideration is that Street Smart Edge probably competes with Thinkorswim, which is TD Ameritrade's trading platform. So if you think of this as Street Smart Edge, think of it against Thinkorswim. So there you go. Okay, so here we are in the research portal for Charles Schwab, and some amazing things in this research portal. Almost overwhelming. I understand that there's a lot of information here, but once you kind of come in and you kind of take a look at some of the different things, you'll see what you like, what you don't really care about. Of course, there's so much in here that you might not even need a tenth of it, but one thing, maybe take a look over here, Market Insight. And so some interesting things. You have some market insights. If you take a look at markets and economy, we'll take a quick look at something just to show you what some of the availabilities are. So here you have a little Schwab market perspective from June 11, 2020, and it's gonna just give you some information about what's going on in the US stocks and economy. It's saying there's mixed signals. Of course, we're not gonna go through the whole thing, but if you want to take a look at some interesting things, then you can come over here and take a look and see some great reports that are done on a daily basis. Some of them are weekly, so it just depends on what you're looking at. So if we close this out, that was let's say kind of like a daily briefing. There's economic reports, there's all different types of reports. So a huge thing also is if we take a look at the stocks here, so there's a stock screener, and I think this is something so many people would love. So this is a stock screener. So you can screen for stocks. This has 11,431 stocks you can screen using different criteria. You can also just go and say, Schwab has some labels for you. If you want to just view A-rated stocks that Schwab has rated A-rated, you could click right here. if you want to screen for yield on preferred stocks or explore global companies. So there's all these different interesting things. So let's go ahead, let's take a look at something just to see how it looks. View A-rated stocks by Charles Schwab. So we click this, and suddenly our screener is going to show only A-rated stocks by Charles Schwab. And so here we have all the different A-rated stocks by Charles Schwab in alphabetical order. You can see Apple's right here, and it tells you the sector, and it tells you the Schwab rating right here. So, oh, it even tells you the universe, so domestic. So if it's international, it would be international or whatnot. So let's take a look at what you can see here in Schwab's research. Let's go to Allstate because everyone always goes to Apple, right? So let's go to Allstate instead. Allstate Corp. So if we hit Allstate, okay, so we have Allstate here, and you can see all sorts of different information regarding Allstate. Now, something that's great about Schwab, you know, you can find a lot of this stuff anywhere. You can find charts. This is a year-to-date chart. You can find the different details. Market's not open right now, but 52-week range. Like, these are all things you can find this on Yahoo. You can find this on Google Finance, right? But what's great about this is things like ratings. So you go to ratings, and you can see some of the different Schwab reports. Now on the right side is where you're going to see some really great stuff. So for example, if you want to get a Schwab equity ratings report, this is going to tell you just a plethora of information regarding Allstate Corp. Now, well, this is interesting. We have Allstate is a strong outperform rated by Charles Schwab. The percentile ranking is 1, so very high percentile ranking. Schwab really thinks that this stock is a great stock to be in right now. It gives you information about the company. It gives you the sector, so it's insurance. I mean, you've probably heard of Allstate Insurance before. Commercials all over the place, right? There's a price volatility outlook. There's valuation information, so it tells you like how their can't speak today. How their balance sheet looks, their income statement. And then, is it important? So the balance sheet evaluation, it's neutral this week. Last week it was neutral. Is it important? Yes, it's a high importance. There's a B rating for the valuation grade on the balance sheet and the income statements. Quality grade, so profitability, capital intensity. So there's all sorts of things here. And if you're into momentum, price momentum here is good, positive. It's got an A grade for price sentiment things. Analyst sentiment is good on this, so all sorts of interesting things. And then, if you come down here, they actually have it in like a visual layout, which is like the craziest and best thing ever. So you can take the earnings per share. It's like visually laid out. I mean, where else do you find stuff like this? So you can take a look. This is 2020. Second quarter, this is estimated, right? So these are estimates, and it's 1.71 earnings per share on second quarter of 2020. The first quarter of 2020 was 1.59. So you can take a look at all this stuff. The year prior, like all this stuff, it's laid out beautifully. You can then come over here, and you can see, I mean, I know I'm getting like a little excited about this, but I mean, there's so much to see here. You come over here on the right side, you have the different ratings of different analysts. So if you want to use CFRA, they're rating it 4 stars. Morningstar has it rated 3 stars. Credit Suisse has it underperformed. So there's all these different things that you can look at. And so I know I'm kind of getting a little excited here about everything that's all the possibilities in Charles Schwab, but I mean, really, just the ability to go in and see all of this research inside any stock is just a great thing. So if we wanted to, for example, just to get some ideas here, the ratings for Charles Schwab, if for example, we didn't see a rating that we liked, let's say Charles Schwab, well, for example, let's go back. We saw a rating for Charles Schwab for Allstate was an A rated, but then we saw that, for example, Morningstar only had it at 3 stars. And so if we go in here and we see that there are different ratings for Schwab, but let's say, of course, that we saw Morningstar, for example, doesn't have as good of a rating for Allstate, for example. If we just click this here, we say, okay, 3, 4, 5. So now we have Morningstar ratings and Charles Schwab ratings. So you can see Universe Domestic, Sectors none, Morningstar. Oh, now we want to hit also a Schwab rating, so an A rated. So what we're doing here is we're seeing now we have companies that are both A rated with Charles Schwab, but also have Morningstar at least 3 stars. So what we can do is we can kind of take this off, and let's say we want something that is also Morningstar higher than 3 stars. Let's say 4 and 5. So there you go. Now you have companies, there's 22 companies that are both A-rated by Charles Schwab and have at least a 4 or a 5-star rating with Morningstar. And maybe this kind of helps us at least screen down to find new stocks. And so these are the stocks that are on there. And you can go around, you can look, and you can say, oh, CVS is here. Click CVS, take a look at it, read what's going on. Again, you go back, you can kind of take a look at the research, see what's going on with the ratings, and then you go from there. So really great tools to help you with research with Charles Schwab. I mean, it's just so great, and you can find so many opportunities using this platform. I mean, I think it's one of the best things that there is. Okay, so this wouldn't be a good review if we didn't mention some of the cons of Charles Schwab, and honestly, the only really main concern I have with the company is how bad the mobile app is. I don't know why they have not done any type of redesigning of this thing, but it is just not good. So, of course, if you compare it to Robinhood, M1 Finance, Webull, the app looks like it's from 1999 or something, I don't know. I just would say if you really, really care about that stuff, then Charles Schwab is going to really kind of annoy you on that front. If you're really looking at this more of a looking into investing using research and great fees, something that has total availability of accounts and options and all sorts of stuff, Charles Schwab is going to be great. If you really, 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 really care about the app, then you're going to be frustrated. So just keep that in mind, and that's really the main thing that I dislike about the broker. Okay, so thanks everyone for watching this Charles Schwab review. Now before we go, just one thing I wanted to mention, it's that Charles Schwab is really a full service bank. So there's over 300 physical locations nationwide, so you can go into these locations, you can open up checking account, savings account, you can get your mortgage through Charles Schwab. So it's really a full service bank. It's got everything you're gonna need on top of the brokerage. So before you go, hopefully you liked this video. Please hit that subscribe button, hit the like button if you liked it as well. And there's some other videos I'm going to link at the end of this, so be sure to watch those. That would really help me out. And in the comment section, why don't you let me know if you think Charles Schwab is one of the best brokers or if you prefer a different one. So thanks for watching everyone, and see you next time.